In the Dublin underworld, loyalty is supposed to be the only real currency, and betrayal is a guaranteed death sentence. For nearly a full decade, one man, Declan Griffin, navigated this treacherous landscape by playing a deadly game. He walked a tightrope between two worlds, trading secrets with the Gardaí, Ireland's police force, while simultaneously dealing drugs on the very streets they patrolled. He was a living paradox, a valuable, protected asset to law enforcement, and at the same time, a marked man in the criminal world he inhabited. This is the story of Declan Griffin, a gangland informant whose incredible luck and cunning finally ran out in the most brutal way imaginable. It's a story that rips the cover off the murky world of informants, revealing that there are no real sides, no black and white, only a dangerous, blood-soaked middle ground where every single person is a potential enemy, and trust is just a word for a loaded gun pointed at your back. It was a Saturday evening in Dublin, the 5th of April, 2003. Inside the Horse and Jockey pub in the working-class neighborhood of Inchicore, the atmosphere was alive. The place was buzzing with the easy chatter of regulars, families, and punters, their eyes glued to the televisions broadcasting the thrilling final moments of the Grand National Horse Race. Pint glasses clinked, and children's laughter occasionally cut through the noise. Outside this picture of ordinary life, Declan Griffin, a man whose entire existence was anything but ordinary, was about to make a final, desperate gamble. He was on his way to a meeting he believed would secure his safety, a deal to buy his own life. He was tragically mistaken. As he sat on a couch near the pub's exit, a lone gunman made a cold, calculated move, and a single, deafening gunshot ripped through the cheerful evening air, silencing everything. To truly understand the chain of betrayals that led to this explosive moment, we have to rewind and trace the beginning of Declan Griffin's deadly dance with both the law and the underworld. What do you think is more dangerous? The criminals an informant betrays, or the police who use them? Let us know your initial thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into Ireland's criminal history. The making of a gangland figure. Declan Griffin wasn't born into Dublin's criminal elite. There was no dynasty of crime waiting for him. He was a product of the city's tough, working-class neighborhoods of Coolock, where opportunity was scarce and ambition often found its outlet on the wrong side of the law. As Dublin's heroin and ecstasy trade exploded in the 1990s, transforming the city into a battleground for territory and profit, Griffin carved out his own space. He wasn't a kingpin, but a determined and connected mid-level dealer, sharp enough to navigate the brutal, ever-shifting landscape of gang allegiances and violent turf wars that defined the era. This was a time of savage feuds on the streets of Dublin, a period when the name of a neighborhood could be enough to get you killed. The Gardaí were under immense public and political pressure to shatter the gang's stranglehold on the city. But to break these insular and violent networks, they couldn't just use force. They needed a way in. They needed intelligence from the inside. They needed sources who could walk the walk and talk the talk. They needed men exactly like Declan Griffin. For nearly 10 years, Griffin served as a registered informant, feeding a steady stream of intelligence to his Garda handlers. He provided information that led to the disruption of major drug shipments and the arrests of significant gang members. His tips were valuable, credible, and frequent, which in the cold calculus of law enforcement made him a protected asset. But this double life came at an extraordinary price. Every secret he shared with his handlers and every criminal he helped put behind bars was a profound act of betrayal in the world he came from. Each tip painted a larger and brighter target on his back. In an underworld built on a fragile and viciously enforced code of silence, Declan Griffin had willingly become what the streets feared and hated above all else: a rat. Do you believe law enforcement is justified in using criminals as informants to stop larger crimes? Or does it create a system that's doomed to fail? Share your opinion in the comments. And if you're finding this story compelling, hit that like button to let us know. The courtroom gamble. The precarious balance of Declan Griffin's life. The dealer, the informant, the survivor. came crashing down in 1999 during a sensational drugs trial at the Dublin Circuit Criminal Court. He had been arrested at Dublin Airport 4 years earlier, in 1995, caught red-handed with a massive shipment of heroin and ecstasy. The haul was valued at around 1.3 million euros, a fortune that for any other dealer would have guaranteed a one-way ticket to a long stay in Port-Louise prison. But Declan Griffin wasn't just any other dealer. He had an ace up his sleeve, and he was about to play it in the most public and audacious way possible. In court, he made a claim that sent shockwaves through the Irish legal and police systems. He didn't deny importing the drugs. Instead, he alleged that he had done so under the instruction of his own Garda handler, Detective Sergeant Dennis Palmer. Griffin testified that he was told to carry out the importation as part of a controlled delivery designed to ensnare the high-level suppliers behind the shipment. He even claimed he was promised a fee for his role in the operation. The courtroom was stunned. Griffin was effectively using his informant status as a legal shield, arguing that he wasn't a criminal caught in the act, but a secret operative on a mission for the state. Detective Sergeant Palmer vehemently denied the explosive accusation. He took the stand and told the court he was horrified when he discovered Griffin had been intercepted at the airport carrying a massive quantity of drugs. While an internal Garda investigation into the affair was launched, its findings were never made public, leaving a cloud of suspicion. The drama didn't end there. Griffin's first trial collapsed after a juror reported that she had been approached and felt intimidated by him. However, in the subsequent retrial, the jury was swayed. They acquitted him. Against all odds, Declan Griffin, a man caught with a multi-million-euro drug shipment, walked out of the court a free man. He had won his freedom, but in doing so, he had signed his own death warrant. His testimony wasn't just a defense. It was a public confession that he was a Garda informant. He hadn't just admitted to being a grass. He had also thrown his own handler under the bus, shattering the fragile and unwritten rules of the informant game. He had alienated both the criminals who now had concrete proof of his betrayal and the very system that was supposed to offer him protection. He was completely on his own. This was an incredible legal gamble. Do you think Griffin was telling the truth, or was it a brilliant lie to escape justice? Tell us what you think, hit the subscribe button, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss the next chapter of this story. A life of fear. After the trial, paranoia became Declan Griffin's constant companion, a shadow that clung to him day and night. The whispers of his betrayal that had circulated in the underworld for years now roared into an open and direct threat. A 10,000 euro bounty was reportedly placed on his head, a formal declaration that his life was forfeit. Dublin's ruthless criminal networks, and allegedly even some paramilitary elements with their own scores to settle, wanted him gone. Griffin knew it was no longer a question of if, but when. His brother, Michael Griffin, would later tell detectives that in his final years, Declan was wary as hell, living with the chilling certainty that they were coming for him. These were not empty threats designed to intimidate. Assassination plots were actively formed and very nearly carried out. In one documented instance, the elite Garda Emergency Response Unit reportedly intercepted and arrested a would-be assassin in West Dublin, thwarting a hit just in time. Another alleged attempt by a gunman in Lucan also failed, adding another layer to Griffin's deepening terror. These near misses forced him into a state of siege. Some accounts claim he began taking extreme precautions, rarely leaving his home without strapping on a bulletproof vest and carrying a loaded .22 caliber pistol for his own protection. He trusted absolutely no one, seeing assassins in every passing car and threats in every unfamiliar face. Feeling utterly isolated and increasingly desperate, Griffin seemed to come to a terrifying conclusion. The Gardaí, the very people he had risked his life for, could no longer guarantee his safety. The official protection he once had was gone, and the streets were closing in on him. He needed a different kind of protection, one that could only be bought from within the very world that now wanted him dead. In a move born of sheer desperation, he reportedly turned to a man from Tala named Shay Wildes, a feared and violent figure with a formidable reputation. According to prosecutors, Griffin made a deal. offering Wildes a fee of €15,000 to act as his personal bodyguard. It was a fatal and deeply ironic mistake. Griffin was about to place his life and a significant amount of cash directly into the hands of his own executioner. Imagine living in that kind of fear. Would you have tried to disappear, or would you have done what Griffin did and try to buy protection from another criminal? Let us know in the comments section. Your engagement helps our channel grow, so please consider sharing this video with someone who loves true crime. The final betrayal. On the afternoon of April 5th, 2003, Declan Griffin was a bundle of raw nerves. He was on his way to the Horse and Jockey pub to meet Shay Wildes and deliver a partial payment of €5,000 for his protection, money he had to borrow from his own brother earlier that day. If reports are to be believed, he arrived at the pub ready for the worst. He was wearing a serious piece of body armor, a bulletproof vest capable of stopping powerful ammunition, and had his own loaded pistol tucked into his trousers. He was seemingly prepared for an attack from any direction, except the one it was about to come from. He walked into the pub around 6 p.m. and scanned the room, which was filled with families and punters enjoying the Grand National. He found Wildes and a go-between, a man named Sandro D'Ambrosio, and sat down with him on a couch position near the exit. Always on edge, always wary, Griffin ordered a simple 7-Up. The men engaged in a quiet, whispered conversation. After a few tense moments, Griffin reached into his pocket and handed over the envelope containing the €5,000, the first installment on the price for his life. According to the prosecution's key witness, Sandro D'Ambrosio, what happened next was brutally, shockingly fast. Seconds after the money was exchanged and pocketed by Wildes, the supposed bodyguard pulled out his own handgun. He fired a single, devastating shot into the side of Declan Griffin's head at point-blank range. For a split second, the noise of the pub was replaced by a deafening bang. Patrons thought it was a firecracker. Then chaos erupted. People screamed and dove for cover as women hurried their children out the back. As pandemonium engulfed the room, Wildes calmly stood up and fled into the Dublin evening. Declan Griffin, the man who had survived a decade of double-crossing and outsmarted the justice system, lay fatally wounded, still sitting upright on the couch. His bulletproof vest was useless against a shot to the head. His own gun was never fired. He was rushed to St. James's Hospital, but his infamous luck had finally run out. He was pronounced dead in the early hours of the following morning. Declan Griffin had paid his killer €5,000 for the privilege of his own execution. The sheer audacity of this murder is hard to comprehend. What does it say about the state of Dublin's underworld at the time that a hit could be carried out so brazenly in a crowded pub? We want to hear your thoughts. And if you appreciate this detailed look into true crime cases, please consider supporting the channel by hitting the like and subscribe buttons. The aftermath and a twisted justice. The Garda investigation into Declan Griffin's public execution moved swiftly. Within days, they arrested Shay Wildes and charged him with murder. When the trial commenced in October 2004, the prosecution's case seemed straightforward. An eyewitness, Sandro D'Ambrosio, claimed he saw Wildes with a handgun moments after the shot was fired. Yet, the defense mounted a compelling counterargument, questioning D'Ambrosio's credibility and arguing that Wildes had no logical motive to kill a man who still owed him another €10,000. After more than 6 hours of deliberation, the jury returned, unable to reach a unanimous verdict. It was a hung jury, and a retrial was ordered. In 2005, the retrial delivered a bombshell verdict. Shay Wildes was found not guilty of the murder of Declan Griffin. Gasps reportedly filled the courtroom. To many observers and law enforcement officials, it felt like a shocking miscarriage of justice. The man accused of carrying out a brazen, execution-style killing in a pub full of witnesses was, by law, an innocent man. But here is the final, dark, and deeply ironic twist in this story. Shay Wildes did not walk out of the courtroom into the sunset. He was escorted from the dock straight back to a high-security cell in Port Louise prison. At the time of his acquittal for Griffin's murder, Wildes was already serving 2 concurrent life sentences for another, equally brutal killing. On St. Stephen's Day in 2001, he had shot another man, Joe Cummins, in the head at close range, infamously shouting "Merry Christmas" as he pulled the trigger. So while there was never any official justice for the murder of Declan Griffin, his accused killer remained behind bars for a different, but just as heinous crime. Shay Wildes was reportedly released from prison in 2021 after serving 18 years for the Cummins murder. To this day, no one has ever been convicted for the shot that ended Declan Griffin's life in the Horse and Jockey pub. Griffin's story is a chilling portrait of the informant's paradox. Was he a victim of a system that used him and then left him exposed? Or did his own choices seal his fate? He was a player in a game far bigger and more ruthless than himself. Used by the law and despised by the underworld, he could never truly leave. In the end, betrayed by all sides and trusted by none, his life concluded not with a bang, but with a quiet transaction in a noisy pub, a final, bloody payment on a debt that could only ever be settled in blood. Was this a fitting end for a man who lived such a treacherous life? Or is the lack of a conviction for his murder the final injustice? Let us know your final thoughts in the comments, and thank you for watching.